'Tis 11 o'clock. Well, here in Colorado at least. So welcome everybody to your Exos 5-minute mindset practice. My name is Tiffany. Today is Monday, and I feel inspired to talk about how we transform emotions, how we transform stressful situations. So before we begin, I'm going to ask you to type into the chat when you experience stress, whether it's when you're in an altercation with someone else, or you feel stress when you're driving, or something happens in your life. What form does it come in? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it like a freezing effect? So I want to know if it's fight, flight, or freeze. Do you tend to fight and push against? Do you tend to flight or flee or run away? Or do you tend to freeze and immobilize? Fear, anger, heart races, and I freeze. What else? Now I'm asking you to be transparent on here. Flight. Yeah, so it's typically one of the three, right? We either fight, we push back, we flee, we get out of there to avoid, or we freeze because we don't necessarily know what to do. So these three mechanisms are the natural response mechanisms of being a primal instinctual human. And they're there to protect us against danger, protect us against threat, protect us against something that could harm us or threaten our lives, right? But they can also override us when we're actually in a situation that we can move through and transform. The thing is, with an immediate stress response, that's just a primal instinct to pull us out of the situation or to make sure that we're safe. But oftentimes those patterns carry through, and we think that we're in an unsafe environment. We think that we're feeling threatened, but we're really not. And those are the opportunities where we can transform those old patterns. And that's what performance mindset, or practicing performance mindset, can do, is we can start to override those patterns and transform them into something that's positive, something that uplifts us, and something that can help us grow through that moment of stress rather than completely avoid it. So I'm going to walk us through just a brief kind of connection into that, and then a visualization of how in that moment, the next time we meet stress, we can actually experience it in a different way. So go ahead and close your eyes. And go to that moment, the last moment that you felt, or maybe one that just pops up right now, where you felt stressed. You felt it coming on, you felt the blood rushing, the heart was racing, you feel all the things you feel in your body. And you either fought against it, you got the heck out of there, or you freeze in immobility. Notice the feelings in your body. Notice the sensations. Notice the thoughts racing across your mind. Guess what? You are not any of that. What if you were just a witness to that, witnessing yourself in that moment, which you're doing right now? When we can understand that those feelings, those sensations, those thoughts are not our identity, and we know that in that moment we can start to transform them. Sometimes we just have to get out of the way of our own selves. So again, stay in that moment. Notice what's happening. And now back up a couple minutes right before you got to the tipping edge, right before you got to the moment where this is building up so much, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to fight back. I'm going to get the heck out of here. I'm going to freeze up and not do anything, which can also promote sadness, right, and depression. Back up to a couple minutes to the seconds right before you hit your tipping point. Then that's the moment you get to make a different decision. So what could have you done, and this is a hypothetical as well, when you're in the next situation, what can you do in order to use this as an opportunity to transform rather than go back into your default patterns? So if you're one that fights against, before putting your gloves on and starting to throw punches, what can you do? These are where you implement the strategies. Do you need to move your body? Do you need to go outside? Do you need to really just move it through and run or dance or just get it out of your body? Channel it in a different way. Do artwork, play music, at least to move through that internal fire and then to find a calm perspective. If you tend to flee, notice, where do you want to run to? What are you running for? Typically, it's because we just want to run somewhere that feels safer. So what is that safe place for you? If you need to run somewhere, if you need to retreat for a little bit, what can you do? Do you need to go into the other room? Just take a breath, recollect yourself, get down to the ground, do some child's pose, right? Go out to the grass, put your feet in the grass to help you regain a sense of perspective and then re-enter in a different way. And then if you tend to freeze, what is it that can help you mobilize? Right? How can you just breathe? Can you allow the movement of the breath to move through you, to start to move the cells in your body? Can you start to even use your voice, maybe talking yourself through it or talking to someone or even singing, right? Or just walking gently. Where can you find your sense of peace and start to mobilize that energy? So these are all reflective practices. You can keep your eyes closed just for now, that you can go back into these moments, not to retrace or re-traumatize, right? But to rewind and decide how you're going to move forward when that experience presents itself again. So place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And just breathe into your body and breathe into the wisdom that you have inside to take those moments as opportunities. You have the power inside of you to shift, to do something differently, to decide and choose for yourself on an action that's more life enhancing than it is detrimental. Release your hands, lift your heads, open your eyes. This has been your 5-minute mindset practice. My name is Tiffany. Try that next time you feel stressed. Just back up, recognize, pause, identify what's happening, reframe the situation, and then you can move forward in a way that helps you grow rather than keep seeing your detrimental patterns. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.